Welcome back, guys, to another video on basic feather. Happy to be back again for the second video. Today we're going to talk about how to defend any smashes close to the line.
Emil Dantler, happy to have you back on the show. As you said, let's start with the topic, how to defend smashes to the sideline. And let's give tips on the footwork, the lift, and how you position yourself after your lift.
Absolutely, let's get to it.
So defending smashes close to the sideline. Let's talk about footwork and let's start on the backhand side. How would you do it, Emil?
When it's close to the sideline, I would take my right leg out all the way to the side, so I get that little extra step, so I'm able to reach the line for sure.
Yeah. So you're almost like crossing over with your right leg.
I'm crossing over with my right leg and really trying to get that reach at the same time with my arm, with my foot, and get to all the way to that line.
Okay, and then let's say on the backhand side then, what if the smash isn't as close to the sideline? Would you still do the same footwork or?
No, then I would change it up. I would say those are the 70% of the smashes, maybe even 80%. So that's the footwork I use the most. That's when I only take one little step with my left leg. So I do the split step and then push out with my left leg and then stretch with my arm. So I don't move a lot, but I take my reach with my arm and use that to get the smash.
And let's highlight, you are right-hander, right?
Right-handed, exactly.
So that means if you're a left-hander, you would actually do a split step with your right leg.
Exactly, that of course switches for left-handers.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And let's stay on the footwork and move to the forehand side. When it's close to the sideline, how would you do it?
A bit of the same thing. I also try to get that extra reach, but on the forehand side, I do that by taking a little extra side step to the side. After I do my split step, I take that little extra step and then I push out with my right leg.
And that extra step is then on your left leg?
Yes, exactly. So I really try pushing with my left leg a bit more than I would if the smash is not close to the line.
And to me personally, this is where a lot of people make the mistakes. They don't use that extra step with the left leg.
If you miss that extra step, the chances of you just missing it or being so stretched with your arm, it's very likely that you will just not get it.
Yeah. And what if then, as on the backhand side, if the smash placement isn't as good, if it's not as close to the sideline, are you still using your extra step?
No, then that's exactly the same as on the backhand side. There I usually just do my split step and then push out with my right leg and get the smash through that.
Yeah. So these like two options on each side on the footwork piece is really the core.
Definitely.
And I can just say, if you also want to learn how to dive, we have a video up here and the link is also in the description, so you can learn how to dive if you want to add a bit extra on top. The lift, I think, is super important when you want to have a good defense. I think if we look at a top player like Chen Long, one of his best qualities was his lift quality was so good.
Yeah.
Can you talk a bit about the lift? How could I use that to improve my defense?
Definitely. If you have a short lift, it doesn't matter against who you play. At some point, he or she will be able to hit it down. So having the proper height, proper length is the most crucial in any hole against any opponent. If you have a proper lift with good height, good length, you will have it way easier in your defense.
And do you have any rule of thumb that you could recommend if I want to improve my defense? Is there anything I could do or look for to see if my length is good enough?
In terms of checking your length, a good thing to use is to see where your opponent lands after hitting the shuttle. So if you see the opponent lands on all the way at the back line or maybe even a bit outside, then you know, okay, you got a very good length. If the opponent lands in front of the doubles line or on the doubles line, you know you still have a good meter to go, so you can push the lift a bit more.
I think that's a really good tip. And if I can't, see where my opponent lands when I'm playing matches, is there anything I could do?
Of course, if you have a coach, then of course tell your coach, tell me where he's landing, or do you have the feeling that I'm too short? And then if you don't, then maybe a friend of yours can show you thumbs up, it's good, thumbs down, it's too short.
I think that's a really good advice. And I remember when I played myself, if I had a bad lift, anyone would just kill it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's so tough. Both in men singles, women singles, mixed doubles. It doesn't matter what you do. Short lift means a tough time in the defense for sure.
Nice. All right, so we talked about the footwork, we talked about the lift. Can we say something about the court positioning in my defense? So,
Yeah.
Does that matter?
Definitely. Of course, the first two steps is having your footwork right, having the lift right. But then a bit more advanced thing to do is to actually analyze where you lift to. So let's say you are under pressure and then do a long line lift on the forehand side. Then a chance of the shuttle coming to your forehand side is maybe a bit higher than it coming cross, because the cross is quite hard to hit for the opponent. So I know, okay, I can position myself slightly to the right, slightly on my forehand side. Through that, it will be easier for me to reach a shuttle and not be having so much stress to push out.
Yeah, and I think it's also something with the straight smash is always a bit faster than the cross one, right? So you have more time on the cross one.
On the, if the cross one is coming, into the worst case, diving, always an option. Otherwise, even if you don't dive, it's just easier to reach because it just comes slower.
Yeah, that was the straight lift you talked about from the forehand side. What if I did a cross lift from my forehand side? Would I then still cover my forehand side more?
No,
or
that changes it up. Of course, it depends again on height of your lift and speed. But in terms of if you say you have a high lift, good length, then again, better to position yourself on the backhand side, because again, the cross one will be a bit easier for you to get. So it's better to get that fast one on the long line.
So generally covering the straight one a bit, tiny bit more.
Tiny bit.
Yeah.
Don't overcommit, but just have it in your mind. Okay, maybe a bit to that side.
Yeah. And if we tie that back into the footwork that we talked about, let's say I did a cross lift from my forehand, I cover my straight smash a bit more. The footwork I use to cover the cross one, what would that be of the two that we've presented?
That one would on both sides be that one where you take that extra step. So on the forehand it would be that little push with your left leg, and on the backhand it would be where you turn a bit with your hip and push your right leg out. So you just reach a lot more.
Do you think like if players manage to do this, would they have a solid base in their defense?
Definitely. Those 3 points are insanely important, and if you really focus on those and improving those, you will definitely see an improvement in
and it
defense.
Doesn't matter actually what level, right? Even if you're beginner
not at
or
all.
pro.
Those are tips that Anders Antonsen uses. Those are tips that a hobby player uses. All of them the same, and they will help you for sure.
So these were the best advices that we had for you to improve your defense with smashes close to the sideline. I hope you learned something. It was the footwork we covered, the lift, and also your court positioning.
Remember, the court is a canvas for your journey.
Exactly.